Like.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag
of the United States of
America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Bear with me today. Okay, so we have. Let's. Hi Deb. Russ.
Hi.
Me. We have a quorum. I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Would that be a second?
Thank you.
Okay, so. Any discussion?
Is there any discussion? Do you have any items that need to be brought up? No?
Nope.
Okay, we don't have any visitors for any sign-ins at all?
Nope.
Public comment, please refer to board policy 1400.
Point of
Oh,
order.
sorry. Oh, all in favor of the agenda, please?
Aye.
Recognition. of
Aye.
visitors?
Any opposed?
I'm sorry. Any opposed?
This is having fun.
I know.
Okay.
Now, do we have no visitors? And then do I have to make a motion for public comment?
No, just a skip.
And then please refer to board policy 1400.
No student recognition.
And no student recognition. And that recognition, will that resume in October?
I don't believe, that's kind of a random thing, actually, yes, it's just random, we don't have a placeholder there.
Can I ask a question about that? The student recognition. So why would that take till, October to start, to identify like characteristics and.
Yeah, they're just getting
Kind of
another
get
students,
Okay,
and we, really have plenty of time to get them all recognized anyway, so it gives them an opportunity to get to know the kids and.
okay.
Right.
And then how does that go? Do you guys like say to the various teachers, okay, you're going to be, October, right? So, start thinking about who you want to recognize, and then when October comes up, you go, okay, who is it, right? Is that how that works? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool, thanks.
Okay, can we move on to announcements? First one's field day, May 30th. Next one, June 5th is TK second grade musical performance tweet. Next one is June 10th, 8th grade graduation at 6:30. June 11th, 8th grade trip to Ocean 5 and Sky Zone. That sounds fun. June 12th, 8th grade breakfast. What does that entail?
Yeah.
Breakfast probably.
Well, like for the upcoming 8th graders or the outgoing 8th graders?
Who provides the breakfast?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Exciting.
So is that before they go to Sky Zone then?
The day after.
The day after, okay. June 13th, last day of school, yay! And June 25th is the next board meeting.
I have a comment
Okay.
on the June 13th, last day of school. If your schedule is such that you can be here for the departure celebration, It's a good thing to do.
Mhm.
You will smile.
Yeah,
So, and can we talk about, eighth grade graduation? It's expected that all of the 4 Gs are correct?
It's perfect.
Like, there isn't anybody. Going on?
congratulations.
Yeah. Well.
Actually,
It's Tuesday.
Okay.
On the last day of school. Do board members typically put on the apron and barbecue hot dogs, so
We do have an event on for
We have field day.
field day, but for the last day, we don't do that, do we?
we don't.
Field day, we have
Barbecue.
barbecue and stuff.
Oh, okay. What did we do the last day, just,
Bubbles, last year we did bullet costumes, this year we've got some teachers who are gonna come up with some fun music, and one year we all learned the instinct dance bye bye bye.
oh,
So, we've got some creative people on staff, and that
Yeah,
we're learning something fun.
right, it's cool,
there's a lot of kids chasing bubbles.
Mhm.
all right,
A lot of excited faces too. Can I please have a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved.
a second,
Any comments?
Any comments?
but he,
Can we vote on the consent agenda, please?
all in favor,
All in favor?
aye,
All yes. No opposed. Okay, so. Go over the general fund, no?
It's all accepted.
Okay. So now we're moving on to the next one, correct?
Yeah.
Principal and superintendent reports. Jerry, please.
Okay. It's a lot of items, but they're brief. Lot is happening at this time of year. It's, for school administrators, it's probably like, this time of year is a little bit like it is for retailers just before Christmas. I think it's just crazy with many things that we kind of get taken care of. So right now, we're in the midst of, Henry and I, classified and certified contract negotiations, so, working through a lot of, items. We're pretty much done with all of the, I don't wanna call them secondary items, but the language items, and now we're, talking about finances and compensation. And, that one's usually the most interesting. So we'll see how that goes. Positive will come out with that. Some good solutions. The HVAC system, I don't know if you've noticed, but you're probably not sweaty right now,
Yeah,
right? It's working. And
speak for yourself.
took the guy on the end of the fever. And so it's all working, they spent good chunk of this morning with some of the experts kind of fine tuning the systems and making sure everything's working properly. And kind of fixing a few of the problems in the old system so that they all worked together, so
Nice,
that was good. And if when you go out to the parking lot, you'll see, we extended the gate, fenced area for the TK. We have a little money in that TK, fund, so we made that area a little bigger and put, more childproof locks on it, on the gate, so they can't just bang it open and get out, so. That was. I'm very glad about that, a few times when kids, wanted to explore a little bit. Now it's not so easy. So we received a grant for a walk-in freezer, for behind the kitchen. It'll be outside, a 6x8, next to the kitchen. It's about 50.
That's awesome.
Yes, we're very happy. Sherry worked really hard to make that happen and got some support from a few others. But she was the real driving force to make that happen, and we're cooking more meals and we're trying to cook healthier meals, and so being able to have access to more freezer space is
That's fantastic.
really helpful. Comes about $15,000. I'm working with Shelton to redo our special ed contract, and we also have a family that has moved from Oregon, who used to live in our area previously with a high needs special ed student who was in a self-contained program in Oregon, and so I'm trying to figure out how to make sure we provide for special needs.
So they'll be in our district next year.
Yes, the purchasing a home. So we will statutorily required to provide with their needs.
So what happens when there's multiple students that require that much in our funds?
We have broke.
Yeah, we go broke. Do we?
There you can get claim safety net funds. So we have some students with one-on-ones, and we have one student in North Mason that it costs about $120,000. But we were able to claim a chunk of that back for safety net. So the state puts a giant pool of money into that, and then you apply and you say, these are my kids' special needs, and this is what this IEP says, and this is what we pay, and then they have a formula where they calculate and they spread that money out to across the various needs. So last year, I think we got like $65,000 from
Safety net.
from safety net, yeah. So we don't know what we'll get this last round, but how much was the about, do you know?
Oh, you're putting it on the slide.
I think it was similar.
Around that hundred or just?
Yeah, right around there. You're not guaranteed to get it, but, get something in there, so. And I went and visited Pioneer's self-contained program and then last week to see, check that out and see what they're doing.
Is that where that student would be going then?
That they used, the child did go there previously when he was in elementary school. But he's in our district. And they do not have capacity, so I'm trying to come up with.
So what is a self-contained program?
Right, so that would be, so. I guess it contrasts with the general ed classroom, right? So the general ed classroom are just your regular population of students using the standard curriculum. And we would might have students of various disabilities that also are in the general ed classroom.
Right,
Learning disabilities, autism, whatever. Yeah, a self-contained classroom would be the contrast to that, but that would be a classroom that is exclusively students with high special needs.
okay,
Yeah, they're usually very low
so
functioning.
more tailored
Yes,
to specific issues that they're having.
usually, yeah.
Okay,
So you're not generally. Yeah, they had 11 students at their middle school self-contained special ed program at Pioneer that I only visited.
wow,
Which is a lot,
That is.
that's not a giant school. And
Each of those students require a parent.
so in that room, there's 11 kids and there were, as a teacher and 4 paras. So, yeah, that's, it's a big commitment. It's
Plus full-time nurse too.
I didn't ask about that, probably not in the room, no, there's probably a nurse on campus, so, yeah, because of that. So, well, the one student will be in our district, so. We're coming up with, working on a plan. So, Jason went to the North Mason advisory committee meeting around the CTE, and they approved him and his course. So that's good. Now we'll work with OSBI to get him certified and get the course approved. Excited about that. It's a long process, but the state did expand CTE to include sixth graders, so we can continue to expand our options for kids and collect enhanced funds for that. And a lot of work, but we learn a lot. Slowly getting through that. As you know, we had an issue with our well, and I worked with our lawyer to request funds from that company. And we've gone back and forth with it, and we've settled. And it's all done. They sent us a check, and we paid our lawyer, and it's kind of a wash, really. But we sent a message that you better be careful. That's important.
So, a wash from our legal bill?
Yeah, it covered our legal bill and a little more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a little bit of the fix. Right, okay,
Very little, but something.
very little.
The legal bill is in the.
Yeah, you'll see that in our.
Here. It's
there,
right,
so,
second page.
so those items in there, the money and the. It's one of those things, how far do you push and how much you're willing to risk in legal bills.
Well, the real winners in lawsuits are attorneys.
Yeah, that's what,
That's what attorneys say.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, let's see, oh, and when it comes to, we're working on figuring out budgets for next year, but something that, is kind of nervous for us is that the governor took a while to sign it. And that puts OSBI a ways back and getting all of their formulas and data and spreadsheets ready for us to review, so. We won't even have some of the forms we need until Friday to really grapple with that process. We kind of know what we want to do, and we have, estimates of what we think we'll have, but we won't really be able to start grappling with that until Friday. So our goal is still June, but there's possibility we might have to push it back a little bit to get the full budget all done ready. So just to let you know our thinking and timelines and goals on that, so. We're thinking our enrollment will be kind of steady. I don't see any losses of funds in the state budgets, not a lot of advances either. The Title I money is a pretty big chunk of money for us, but they encourage us to plan with the amounts in mind that we got this last year, this year, so that's what we're doing. So anyway, that's all I have, unless you have any questions.
The HVAC's not signed off yet.
It's certified and they're
Okay,
fixing
okay.
things, yeah, so.
I said that closed up and done.
Yeah.
Okay, no questions? Yeah,
All right, speaking of the HVAC system, it's been really funny because Tony has this really cool tool that it looks like a really fancy, like fever reader, thermometer. But he goes and he holds it up to certain corners and he's measuring temperatures and getting back to them. And it was like 56 degrees over in fifth grade today.
oh.
At one point, because they're still trying to get things, situated just right. So it was, they were all like just freezing. And then in here it was like 75. Yeah, the systems were kind of set at the same. So they're working out their case, but it's been kind of fun to look around and see differences. All right, I got some updates. All SBA testing is completed, because it's Cindy. And all the staff did our hard work in planning, implementing, conducting, makeups, and Sherry Williams. She's our interventionist. Cindy, would you agree that Sherry has been a rock star in helping us with makeups, especially? Cindy will pull out the data to see who maybe didn't finish the section and looking at the attendance and who missed what. And then Sherry will pull that kiddo in and, you know, set up a testing session with them, and it's really awesome, because she also has to finish all of her lab progress monitoring, because she helps with our lab interventions. And there's a lot of end of the year things that have to get done, but she's really taken on a priority with this, and so I really appreciate her and Cindy's work in getting this done. We are continuing to implement Renaissance Place assessments throughout these next few days, and that data really pulls our SIP to see our student growth with Renaissance Place, and then our student growth percentiles with SBA. We'll have more information probably in August, actually maybe in September, just depends on when they get it to us. Final track meet was last week on May 19th. We placed in 35 events, which
Wow.
based off of some research that Tony's been doing, we believe that's a Grapeview record. I mean, Grapeview, like, that's definitely been a record for the 15 years I've been here. But like, we think that that might be the record, that we had placement in 35 events at districts, so it's pretty exciting. And a lot of those were our fifth graders, which when we had such a huge team of fifth graders, Tony and Megan were so excited about that, but they were also like, wow, it's gonna be a learning year. Our fifth graders were fast and athletic, and they took off. That was really exciting. It was really cool to see.
Question, how big is the district?
How big is district, so many teams?
Then,
The boys placed second overall.
wow, that is impressive.
Oh, and I mean, this is against like St. Mike's and like these
Yeah.
really big private schools that have some top athletes. That's really, really cool.
We do too.
We do too, like, so
Fun.
it's just so exciting, because we're years and years and years ago, when I was coaching Wesley's daughters, it was like, we were always a learning school. And that's wonderful to be, but it was like, if we ever won, it was the most exciting thing in the whole world, and now we are like.
If we even scored, it's a thing to celebrate.
Well, next year's gonna be like, they're gonna come out on top, those
It's
sixth
really
graders,
exciting.
that's awesome.
It's exciting. Our Kiwanis kids, you probably saw them, they're out here every Wednesday from 3:30 to 5 o'clock, and they are working on all sorts of different beautification projects on our school grounds. They're planting trees, planting irises in certain locations, and they are doing trail maintenance constantly, and they've been painting and doing these boards to update our interpretive stations on the trail. So that's really cool.
I tell you, those
Watering
kids,
plants.
And watering plants, yeah.
those kids are so polite, so I've seen them as I've been leaving, driving out, and they recognize that a car is coming, because I saw it right on the side as a driveway coming up from school. And they stood up and they looked and they watched, and they all smiled and waved and waved me by, and then went back to doing what they were doing. And today I saw them watering. And they were walking back and forth, and I could tell when they were going that direction that the water was full, so they were going a little bit slower. And then when they're coming back the other direction, they were getting more water, but they were still walking, like politely talking to each other, and they were presumably unsupervised at that point, they were sent back to get water. I'm just guessing, I have no idea, this is the view from my window. But they were just so polite, walking along, doing it, and walking back the other way, and it really was like they're having fun.
And they're doing, yeah, they're doing such a good job with it too. So they meet with me on Thursday morning, their president and secretary and vice president, to talk about the work that they did the Wednesday before.
So cool.
And they have notes, and it's just really cool. They're taking on leadership responsibilities. It's awesome. I'm proud of those kids. Our garden beds are in current use, and lots of things are planted in there, and students and staff are in there working in the garden, so it's gonna be a great summer. I was just in there this morning, and I was like, there's so many things that are growing so well, 'cause it's been so hot. So that's been good. All right, there's a ton of activities coming up, so bear with me, here we go. Tomorrow is the Bikes for Books Assembly, and the giveaway of the bikes with the helmets. So at 1 o'clock brought to us by the Sonic Lodge at North Basin. So they come out, the students, the Bikes for Books organization, they read 8 books. They get their parents to sign off that they've read them at 8 books at their reading level. And then they get a teacher to sign off on it, and then they turn in their name, and I take that put in a little ticket for them and they get their names into drawings. So we have 4 drawings, because they will do 4 bikes. So we do first and second grade, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Yeah, so we had, not as many kids enter this year as in past. We had a lot in the younger grades, but it was still exciting to see older grades still participate in a little bit. So we have 4 kids and, we drew their names last week on the 16th, because that was the end of the, drawing time. And so we drew names and I called all those parents and told them I got sizes and information from them. And they are coming tomorrow to pick up the bikes. So then the Sonic Lodge goes and they picked up the bikes already and already dropped them off there in the shed. And it's so cool, there's helmets in my office and the Sonic Lodge will come and present the bikes with the helmet to the kid, get a picture. And and then they'll talk about the importance of reading in the community. And they do this at Sand Hill, Belfair Elementary. Pioneer didn't work with them about it this year, but they've done that with Pioneer in the past. And then a few of the elementary schools in Shelton as well. So a total of, I think they said 36 bikes that they have bought this year for kids.
Wow.
So it's really exciting. So that's tomorrow. And also I wanted to touch base real quick and let you guys know, you know the murals, like the big orcas that's in the commons, and then there's 2 Van Gogh ones here. This year they're working on one that's an eagle over the mountain, and it'll be displayed for Tweet, the musical. And I've been working with Margaret from the GCA, and we are going to display those at the Water and Art Festival in July. And so Chris and Tony, Chris, are helping us put them on like a foam backing, so they're really lightweight, and then a small wooden frame. Because they're giant. The one like the orcas is like 8 by 6 feet. It's really big. So they're big. But they're not heavy. Of course, we're gonna back them in a way that makes them light, and then we're gonna get them displayed. So I'm excited, and our kids they'll be able to see. So even those who graduated will have the chart up for who did what quadrant. So I'm excited that we're doing this. Yeah. All right, we have
Just as a side note,
Yeah.
I stop to admire those projects every time I'm in here. I think that's really amazing. Yeah, it really is.
It's spectacular.
Yeah.
So wait till you see the eagle.
Yeah,
A few weeks ago, when they were just doing their squares and they were putting them up, I was like, over there, I was like, this is gonna be a different one this year. But now, because they put them all up once they do, and then they start to blend, and then they start to do the detail. And I didn't know the whole process with it. It's so amazing. It's going to be gorgeous.
cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. So those are going up, but I'm excited because I feel like Grapeview's art hasn't been up there in years since we had the glass etching and we have such beautiful art here. It's just getting it there and getting it up, so. Yeah, it was good. Friday's field day, and we're so excited, we're doing field day differently this year because it's a water event, and in the mornings it's often cold, so we pass around teachers, and so we're doing lunch first, then field day in the afternoon. So field day itself is 12:30 to 2, those are gonna be the activities. Lunch is 11:30 to 12:30, and we had a family donate a black top. What do you call it? The grill, but it's the Blackstone, thank you, the Blackstone grill, which is so helpful because you can cook so many hot dogs on that in such a short amount of time. So I've got parents volunteering, and we're gonna be cooking up the hot dogs. We have chips, water, fruit, and then field day fun. After field day at 2:30, we're continuing the fun, and we're having our character strong assembly for the month of May, and it's our last one of the year, where we honor all the kiddos that show creativity. We've kind of laid things out. I shouldn't say we. Cindy and Andrea Goddard, our 4th grade teacher, have really she's taken this on big time and ensured that in the elementary school that all kiddos are getting recognized in some way. So it's really nice because we get to celebrate them, and they're really excited about their creativity and the assembly. So we're gonna do that right after field today. And then we're gonna send them home, we're gonna be so tired. So it's gonna be a fun day.
Can I say one thing about the recognition? You never know the impact it has, and the kids are smiling and happy when they get up there, but then I went to the crab feed and sat next to a gentleman and his grandson lives with them, and once he found out it was from the school, he could not stop talking about how great his child felt, his grandson, about getting that award and how important it was. You know, the kids are just kind of quiet and thank you, but to get that kind of feedback about from the granddad to me was great to hear, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the same kind of thing with the student recognition at the board meetings. We have a spreadsheet and we have it, you know, all the way back from I think 21, 22, so we see which kids have been recognized for what. And then we can try to really look for different things, so then a teacher can see this stuff, they can be like, oh, that kid was just recognized for that last year. I wanna see if I can find somebody else too, so that way we really make sure that we're looking for kids that are showing these traits. North Mason seniors are coming on May, I'm sorry, not on May, on June 6th. They're gonna give a small presentation to our middle school students. They're answering 3 questions. They're preparing them right now. What are you doing these next couple of years after you graduate? What's your favorite memory from Grapeview? And I had a 3rd question on there. And I emailed them this whole thing, so they're coming up with their answers. And they are they're gonna come talk to, oh yeah, the 8th grade, specifically the 8th graders, what are some specifics for going to the high school and stuff. So they're gonna come work with our kiddos and I'm excited for that. Our 8th graders are going up to North Mason for the basically all the clubs and their assembly for the Future Bulldogs. That's on Thursday, June 5th. And right, our volunteer breakfast is Friday, June 6th. All of you volunteer and support our schools, you are all very welcome to come. It'll just be Cindy and I in here. Cindy's putting it on. Just going to Costco and getting some good croissants and muffins. It's gonna be awesome. All the cards. So please come join us on the 6th in here.
What time is that?
9 to 10. Tweet the Musical is June 4th at 2:15. And then the main performance, that's just for the kids here at the school, but if you want to come to that one, you're more than welcome. June 5th at 6:30. So June 4th at 2:15, we haven't confirmed if we're doing 2:15 or 2:30. Lori's kind of back and forth with it, so be hesitant on that one, we'll know more soon. But June 5th at 6:30 here, it's going to be adorable. Already they're saying all their lines and they're practicing every day, and it's.
So, you wanna give us a quick rundown about what Tweet the Musical is about?
So we did it a few years ago,
Oh.
the Barnyard Musical,
Okay,
Tweet the Musical, what's the ant one, or the bugs? Going Buggy, the musical, so there are ones where there's a bunch of these kids' songs and there's a couple of lines in between. Tweet is about they're like jungle birds and they are all in competition over something and then they learn to work together.
so it has nothing to do with Twitter.
Nothing, no, no, although I think the writers of it, I have to think they must have known that if they call something tweet. And they're gonna get a response.
Well, now that the name has changed, I suppose, but
Mhm.
I was thinking, wouldn't it have been funny if you took all of President Trump's tweets and put them into a musical?
It would be a TK segment.
It'd be hilarious. It'd be really funny.
It would be a comedy, it would be.
Yeah. Yeah, a little scary. Anyway,
But that's gonna be so.
okay, all right. All
But
right.
yeah, it's kind of like, you know, what's that, Rio, you know, the.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like, it's not like Rio, but it's that kind of fun theme
Yeah.
of birds. So 8th grade graduation is June 10th at 6:30, doors open at 6 o'clock. And we're working on our program for that, and it's gonna be great. Shelton Senior Walk, so the Shelton seniors are coming in on June 11th. And I love the fact that they bring all their seniors to us and at North Mason, we have to go pick up ours, because they won't bring to Grapeview. Which I know that they have budget cuts and things like that, but we have 4 seniors at Shelton, and yet they still bring all the seniors to come through our academy home, which is exciting. And we just go out in halls and cheer for them. They're excited, it's a good time. The 8th grade breakfast, 8th grade trip, June 11th to Ocean 5 in Gig Harbor, and then Sky Zone to Tacoma. So they're having lunch in between, but they raised enough money over these past few years that they got to do both of those things, so they're really excited. 8th grade breakfast is June 12th, and we have 2 8th grade parents that oftentimes take the leadership on that. I mean, they contact me and we make sure that we've got things arranged and stuff, but then they run with it, and then I just enjoy having breakfast with the 8th graders along with them. So they're gonna come and set up on that morning, and it'll be really nice. Yearbooks are in, they've arrived, and we'll be selling them starting again on June 10th. A community member has promised a $1,000 donation. Again, she's done this a few years in a row. And it brings the price down from $20 a yearbook to $15 a yearbook for kids, so it's so much more
So amazing.
affordable. And then if there's kids whose parents let us know that they want a yearbook and the kids already can't afford one, we have staff, we have people who cover those. So this donation brings the whole cost down for our families. And then we've got, some little donations here and there that make it possible for students to be able to get yearbooks. And Heather Beck did them again. She did a great job. She took a few 8th graders that wanted to be in the yearbook club. She started working with them a few months ago. And so the 8th graders were taking her cameras around, taking pictures of things and getting them to her, and it was great. It was doing a good job. Our last day of school is maybe this on the 13th. Yeah, that's all I got.
That's all.
That's all.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. This is like Jerry said, this is like what shop owners must feel like with Christmas season. It's like every single day. And then if you're a parent on top of it, your kiddo has a million different events.
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you, Jenna. Operational services, Andreas?
Well, Hannah had a lot, I do not. Very boring. It's not kind of good for this top.
I think it's good for this time of season.
This is kind of my quiet time, I'm getting ready to head down into budget, and there's not really a lot going on. Getting ready for next year. So I did send out to you guys, I think I got it in time, if I was able to email it out to you on Friday. The budget status report for the month of April.
Sorry, 1 second.
I think I have a screen.
I know it's here, I'm just not seeing.
There we go. Okay, so the first slide that we get to is enrollment. And it's almost exactly the same as last month. I think we dropped the 1 or 2 students that left during the month of April. So the number that you see next month is also going to be very close to this month, because there's just 1 more month to average for enrollment for the whole year. But all in all, that looking like we're gonna end up about 16 FTE of fully budgeted for this year, which is a good story to have. And then the next page, I broke out the different expenditures that we had for the month of April by project. So the first 3 lines, I'm sorry, are salaries and benefits. And then we've got supplies, purchase services, travel, and capital outlay. So for April, we spent a total of everything of a very odd or even number, depending on how you look at it, $333,333. So the balance, if you look at the bottom right-hand corner, where we're coming in, my projection to our budget is saving or not spending almost $200,000 as compared to budget. So
Well,
Yes.
we'll see how we end up. That's the trend at the moment. And then I put these on 2 different slides. The last graph and this one were all crammed into one slide last month. It's kind of hard to see, so hopefully you can see this
I
better.
love that it's bigger.
Yeah, and this is a similar trend that you've seen the last 2 months also, so the top box is our revenues. Our actual revenue year to date is in the top, so just over $3 million. And budgeted revenue, where we thought we'd be at this point in the year, just under 3 million. So we're up almost. Yeah, up $377,000 over what we thought would be. And the expenditures are up just over $100,000. That's the savings that you're seeing. We're spending a little bit more, but we're getting a good chunk more due to the increased enrollment that we have. The next page that you see is the general fund balance. I did that fund balance in different colors, so we should be able to see it a little bit better this time. That bottom green bar is the TK carryover, although I need to make the words bigger still. And then the middle, that purple bright magenta color is our minimum fund balance requirements. That's the board directed minimum fund balance reserve. And then the blue on the top is the extra money that we could spend on anything right now if we wanted to. And then you'll just see the ending fund balance is a projection on the top line. And then where we landed the last 3 years below. I don't know that we'll really end that much over 800,000. The month of April is when we receive a good chunk of our revenue from our levy from our taxes. So that month always shows a higher revenue, so you can see in the graph, the corresponding bumps up you see in October. And then we get April, and then kind of trends down slowly though, near the end of the year. And the other fund balances are all crammed into that page. This looks almost exactly, again, like you saw last month. With the exception of the debt service fund, I think there's more money in that this month because we have the debt service payment in June. So we pay that twice a year in December and June, and that's the bond for the building. So that kind of creeps up and we accumulate money in there and then again, this is a high water mark. Everything else is almost exactly the same. Transportation vehicle fund. Let's see. Probably won't see a change in that for June, but we will for July. I heard from our bus sales rep that our bus should be showing that. I won't say out loud what he said, but in the month of June. He said a couple of weeks, so we'll see. It's scheduled to be delivered to our Lakewood facility next week. And then they do some upfitting and check it out and put our Grapeview name, our stickers and numbers on it.
They put the Northwest package on it.
Yeah, heated seats. So that'll be, that's on its way, bus drivers from then, they're very believe that. They even offered to go to drive to Pasco and pick it up and bring it home. Like, no, you don't get a field trip that far, that's not helpful. It's on its way. In the mail. Very last page, this is, I think almost exactly what I told you guys last month, because this is a boring time of year for this. But no major changes to staffing. You might have seen in the consent, you have one paraeducator retire. We're kind of hesitant if we need to replace that or not, but nothing major happening that we know at this point. And then enrollment budgeting for next year, we're planning on budgeting the same as we did for this year, 210, because we think what it looks like is the 8th grade class is a little bit bigger than the incoming TK class will be. That's all I got. Short and sweet. You guys have any questions? Happy to entertain this.
If the new bus is a big deal,
They're so excited.
and there's 200 and how many students right now?
In our district, about 230.
230 kids are gonna be excited about a brand new bus. Yeah. Just thinking, I'd like to know when it's gonna get here. I'd like to come up and see it early on.
That is not coming during the school year, because I feel like that's something to have,
It's going to be so close. He said a couple of weeks today, and I'm looking at the calendar.
Will it have the new bus smell before it has the old bus smell?
I can tell you that
no, wait till it rains.
they don't, they keep smelling like old buses. They
Like
say
old
that
buses.
because the rep brought one out that he was delivering to North Kids out for us to look at the model and see what the dash looked like, and let Michelle's gonna be the driver. She wanted to make sure
It's a
the seat
standard
adjusted.
feature.
And we walked on the bus and you just smelled that My school bus.
It's the standard, comes complete with old bus.
Leather seats.
But they were very excited when they saw on the one that was being delivered of all the new stuff, and our old bus, is hanging on. Launch doesn't go uphill too
So
often.
then what happens to that bus? Are we gonna sell it, or are we gonna, okay,
Yeah, the protocols.
It gets surplus,
Get rid of them.
yeah.
but we will always have a backup bus, correct? I didn't know if the backup bus gets kicked to the curb and then that one goes to the backup bus.
Well, we'll keep in service the three newest buses, then we have a 2006 model bus and a 2011 model bus, and we will need to decide at that point which one of those two we'll keep. And logic says keep the newer one, but that bus has got a few more issues than the older one has, so we kind of decide, and we've talked to Central Kitsap, who maintains our
Mhm,
buses,
mhm.
and have them, their input so on. You know, you're going to be fixing this over the next few
Yeah.
years, which one would you prefer?
Mhm.
Ask the
Great,
drivers what they think as well.
Yes, yeah, they've all given.
Thank you, Andrea.
You're welcome.
Any new business and or action items? Can I please have a motion? Saying that right?
To approve 25-26 administrator contract of
Jerry,
Superintendent Jerry Grubbs, so
Second,
can we vote? Oh, discussion? Deb, is she here with us?
she,
Yes, I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm listening.
Okay. So no comment?
Nope.
grateful to have you.
Yes,
for being
so
here
let's go to
25-26.
a vote. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
No names, that's all of us, 100%. Okay, and then, can I please have a motion to approve the 2025-2026 administrative contract business manager for Andrea Cooper?
So moved.
second,
Any comments?
You found a good one.
Yes, we're happy to have you, Andrea. Can we please bring it to a vote? All in favor?
I
Aye.
No negatives? 100%. All right, congratulations, you guys. Thank you. Great to see you next year. Moving on.
I'm sure we were all like hanging by the thread. What the other thing would be.
I put on extra together.
Or just had. Squeak by another one.
Old business, Tom, any legislative update?
just a very brief one. It's pretty hard to have not watched the legislature. The legislature in this most recent session, it's been in the news, and the governor took all 20 or 21 days that he's allowed to have before he finally signs off anything. And this education got hammered in the state of Washington. All of the things that got improved, special ed and some of the MSOC, were not nearly what we needed. Not nearly what we needed. And the legislature in general passed a massive tax increase. And they have painted a picture as though the tax increase is going to, this kind of reminds me of Robin Hood. We're gonna tax the rich and we're gonna give it to the poor. And what it's gonna mean for everybody in the state is everything is gonna cost more. Everything is gonna cost more. It's gonna cost more for us to purchase goods and services, and it's gonna, as a school district, and it's gonna cost more for your family and mine. To meet the basic needs that we have. And I was really hoping somewhere towards the last minute that the governor was gonna line item veto a bunch of things, and he just didn't. He just signed it off, and At the risk of being too political, I'm just gonna leave it at that.
We'll just have to keep fighting the good fight here.
That's right. Oh, and it's gonna be down in the June agenda items, but I'm gonna reach out to Travis and see if we can get Travis to come. Spend a little bit of time with us in June. And if he's not available, I'll try. Drew or one of
Dan,
them,
Any comments?
I might add, they're all in the same party, so we're pretty close, I don't think that equitable distribution of presentations is an issue, but, it's worth creating those opportunities.
I did have, I'll add one more thing, I did have the opportunity to go down to Olympia, to the Capitol building, during the legislative session, and I was much more optimistic after having visited the Capitol and the background information that I gathered. And then I was disappointed when the ultimate results came out. We did have a few minutes that we spent with Dan, which was awesome. It was during the session and he stepped away for a moment while someone was being long-winded about recognition for someone else. And he came in and talked to us, and he just really impressed me. We're very fortunate. And WASDA is, I believe, WASDA is extremely disappointed, and they're spinning it back to what we can do to get ready for next year's session. And there will be a general assembly in September, which I will tune into, at least part of it, where all the things that are gonna be, that WASDA is representing school boards for, and how to prioritize those, and that kind of stuff. As far as I'm concerned, the legislature is business as usual. That's all I got.
Moving on down to policy. Just reading, I just. Do I have to have? We discuss each one. First reading of policy 2020, course design, selection, and adoption of interstructural materials. Structural, sorry. Any
Jerry, what do you
questions?
think about this one?
I read them all today, and they're just kind of standard useful policies that we should have.
Do we have anything in place for these?
This happens revised, yeah, all of these are
Revision?
revised anyway, they're policies that I think we already had out there, so.
Anything for that one? Okay. First reading of policy 2021, library information and technology programs.
That policy, and I discussed that with Hannah, we're in good shape.
And then policy 2230, transition to kindergarten. Adopted February 2018.
As a side note, do we look pretty decent for the prospect of being able to continue the TK?
We have plenty of students that are interested, the legislation put a freeze on it. any new funding, but we were on that early enough, so it's not really affecting us in any way. In the near term, so in the long term, I think we anticipate they may allow a modest growth in that building. But we're already in, so I think we're good for the future.
So, can I ask a question about?
Yeah.
Oh. Are we on the transition to kindergarten? The last paragraph,
On the second page.
yeah. The inventory of developing, well, first of all, statewide student identifier. I'm guessing that they're doing that with everybody, all students?
Yes.
Okay. So everybody,
Every kid.
yes,
Yeah.
do they tattoo it on? Just kidding.
You give them a credit card.
Yeah, I'm kidding. And is that like your permanent file?
Yeah.
Remember that? Do you guys really still use that? Hey, it's gonna go in your permanent file.
So,
Oh, geez.
holds for fun, not for real.
Okay. All right. No, not like permanent file.
Well, we have them in the back room. We already do that.
You don't wanna see mine, though you could probably already tell what's in it. So the inventory of the developing skills. WA kids at the beginning of their enrollment and at least one more time during the school years. Children whose parents excuse them from participating in the WA kids. Do not have to participate. So what is WA kids and why would parents want to excuse them from it?
Because it sounds like it's another test, and so some parents don't do assessments with their kids. We don't have that problem. So what Watkins is so when we started full day
It's
kindergarten.
an assessment, right?
It is, but it's a one-on-one assessment. So like the best way to do it is the teachers will have like a device or even a check-off sheet, and they're looking for different things like can the kiddo, are they sorting by color? Are they sorting by number? Where are they with their development of recognizing the difference between a number and a letter? With them holding a book, do they understand the front cover? If you say, can you open it from the front cover? Can they open it from the front cover? Do they recognize some of those basic things in
Okay,
school? And it's not punitive by any means. It's just a data taking assessment of where that child is developmentally, and you know what helps them be more successful in school. So we've been working on those skills throughout the year. And
so is that used in kindergarten?
yeah, so we do it in TK, we do it, and we actually do 3 data points, checks with those, but it's a little bit more intensive, and those are their report cards. Is the parents get to see where they're at in those developmental skills, and then they do it in the very beginning of kindergarten. And then they move into regular report cards.
It seems like it would be useful
It
to
is-
identify anything ahead of, you know, okay, all right.
Right.
Just trying to identify if there was like anything controversial about that, you know. Cause whenever I see, well, parents can excuse them from blah, 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 and you know, then I think, okay, is there something about that?
We've been using Walk Kids for like, I don't know, 7 years now with our kindergarten program. We've
Yeah.
never had a parent excuse me from it.
Huh, okay,
Any other questions?
no,
Moving on, policy 5011, sexual harassment in district prohibited. Any questions?
so. Was it permissible before this policy? There was something in here that was gonna. So, we have a policy, an anti-discrimination policy, right? Right, do you know what number that is? Okay, why not, Jerry?
There's cross references in the back.
Wait,
I think it's 50.
it's 50-10,
50.
yeah.
That sounds smart.
Wow, way to go, way to go. Didn't forget to say you.
Feels good.
So it, I mean, this looks like it's just taking an anti-discrimination and just sticking sex into it. Right, cause it's like reports of, and then you add sex discrimination and then sexual harassment.
Yeah, conduct.
Yeah. Okay,
It's,
so couldn't that be combined into one policy?
the state.
No, they wanted it separate.
Distinct, yeah. That's how I was presented.
Thanks.
Any questions, any other questions?
Well, yeah. This is really interesting, or complaints alleging violations of the Boy Scouts of America will be referred to. Do any of us know what that is?
There.
So frankly, it was kind of a knee-jerk response by to the boys to there was a political issue some time ago, and I don't remember all the details.
That's anything named.
They're
after
alienating the
usually
Boy
a-
Scouts, they didn't want to, so they kind of created a caveat for Boy Scouts. It makes no sense anymore, since they are not as in Boy Scouts.
All right. Well, gosh darn it, I'm not against. People not being, or people, let's see, I don't want to do a double thing. I am totally for this policy. Totally. For record. In case there was any questions.
Okay, moving on, you're good with that? We're going to do policy approval. If we have a motion for the new policy 3423, parental administration of marijuana for medical purposes.
So moved.
Oh, second.
Okay. You have a discussion?
So, yes, surprise, surprise.
For the first one.
I was not. I think I missed last week. This is coming from our nurse saying that we should have this policy. Correct.
It's advised, it's not mandated.
Okay. And she says we should have it because some parents want to give their kids some kind of marijuana medical stuff during school hours, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And it puts parameters around that. We as educators or even our school nurse will not administer any of those things. The policy also previously had sections about buses and stuff, and I mixed those. I'm like, there's no way we're, you know, yeah, parents and administering of various places, including buses, and I mixed all that.
Adds to the whole new bus smell, doesn't it? It's more of an MTA bus now.
Yeah.
Could add some steel cigarettes in there.
Well,
It'd be,
it's a good marketing because these things do get sold to people when we're done.
yeah. Right.
No, but I mixed all of that language. I'm like, there's no way we're making any accommodations on field trips or transportation for a while. I got rid of those,
Okay.
and because it was silly, and but kept it intact for that rare instance when we have a child with significant medical conditions, permitting this would help.
My question is there gonna be a student well enough to go to school to take
Probably.
marijuana?
I mean-
Like if a kid has leukemia and they're taking marijuana for nausea,
Mhm.
they're not gonna be here if they're that sick.
I don't know.
Well, these
There is-
days-
It's possible.
These days, people take marijuana for, anxiety. And dyslexia, right? And
A broken toe.
they need to, kind of get mellow, right? And so. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm
The
torn.
good news is, if you look down towards the bottom of the cross references, we have a drug-free school policy, and this does not compromise or go against the drug-free school. And we have a drug-free school.
Well, I know they say that, but. What have you guys seen? I mean, is there a big call for this?
You can.
I've never seen it.
Isn't part of the reason this policy was recommended to give us some guidance and boundaries if a parent does ask for this? We haven't really had parents asking now, but this will give us guidelines and boundaries that we would want to have. in place.
So if someone asked, you could say, well, this is our
Right,
four
yeah.
corners of the
Right now, we don't
policy.
have
on it.
emergencies, but very
Right.
harder to.
Be wild west.
It's useful for me, should I have guidance. We have an opinion on this, and this is state law, and this is how it's gonna be handled. Has it ever happened to me? No, but that doesn't mean it never will, because clearly it's been an issue because the politics, so, I won't be bent out of shape if you don't choose this policy. It's just a useful thing to have in our catalogs, resources.
What if we adopt this policy and a parent decides, okay, I'm gonna do this, and they find somewhere around this policy, what is the actions that would be taken to that parent or that student if they were using it improperly or
So then they would be a violation. of
You
law.
go to their permanent file.
right?
Right, I mean, if they use it in any way outside of the description of this, then it'd be a violation of our school rules and all that about a drug-free school.
Are we ready to vote?
Yep.
I have a motion, please, to.
We did.
So,
I'll call for a vote.
can I call for a vote, please, for policy 5012? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
All pass.
Would be a small eye.
I'm a small I.
Future agenda items.
I got one more policy.
That's you.
Oh, sorry, I skipped
It's
over that one.
Yeah, so you think with that, I mean, we're taking on, that's a policy that's retired and I didn't want to just take it out. I wanted to make a decision to take it out. Because policy 510 on non-discrimination covers this item as well as 5404.
Okay, then I need to call for a motion and a question and all that.
You're so smart.
That's okay. Okay, so going back for to retire policy. I would like a motion for policy 5012. Right. A motion for policy 5012 to be retired.
So moved.
Second,
Discussion? I don't think there's much to discuss. So, We'll move to a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now moving on. Thank you for bearing with me. Future agenda items. June board meeting. To approve the 2026 budget.
Target date, yes.
Target.
And to approve administrative contract. Jerry, yes?
No,
No?
We did mine, or we'll get Hannah next time.
Okay. No, I was asking. anything else. I wasn't asking, sorry. And then community partnership award. And then at the bottom is it from Travis too? Yeah.
yeah, we will have a legislative representative who come talk to us.
Okay. Anything else I'm missing?
This doesn't need to be for necessarily the June board meeting, but, I'd like to start introducing discussions around, maintaining our level of service at Grapeview, you know, so we have some extraordinary talent here, but, you know, time marches on and people march towards retirement and you know, there's some folks that are very talented and when they retire, like, how do you fill that void, right? And I'd like to kind of talk about maybe see if anybody has any strategies around that.
Mhm.
I can talk about how we do it in the private sector, but it's not as easy.
Are you talking about recruiting, like?
No, just, well,
Best.
recruiting and, you know, kind of cross training or identifying talent that, you know, could slip into different roles, you know.
It's a conversation Hannah and I frequently have about developing leaders in the building and strengths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I've been thinking about that for a while and you know, there's a reason why we're doing really well and that's because we've got a great team. But, you know, a cog falls out of alignment, right? And that, you know, I just wanna have a conversation around
Okay,
that.
we'll put it on the agenda, and we'll share some of the things that we are
Great.
looking at.
Yeah. Great. Also, one other thing too, not necessarily for June, but I'd like to, you were telling me about Pioneers, dedicated special needs program that had 11 people in it, which to me is a lot. Is a lot of people, you know, considering the size of district.
Yeah.
But I would like to learn more about that, to find out if they're using that as a separate revenue structure within their budget. And if that gives them sort of an advantage of other districts, you know, outsourcing specialty services to them. And could we build a program? I know Hannah's crazy right now, but could we build a program around that here somehow, right? I'm not saying.
No, I'm not cringing at all. These are constant discussions.
Okay,
I was just cracking my knuckles.
oh, okay.
No,
It's-
it's a constant
I
discussion.
mean, it's just, you know, I'm just saying things that, oh gosh, you know, as if I don't have enough to do on my plate, right? But if we did something like that, it would also help protect us from the ebbs and flows of political winds and the economy and that kind of thing too,
Well, we wouldn't be shoving students out, or
right?
we'd be embracing them.
Correct. Yeah,
I also wonder too, like, what would it take? 2 more teachers, 3 more teachers, and probably a full-time nurse
Yeah, I mean,
and a room.
we would have to kind of analyze it, but,
And I'm sure
I
the
think
students
it's
that,
worth thinking about.
I'm sure the students that we are having special ed art programs even now would benefit more if we had more teachers and
It's a
available.
matter of benefits and costs,
Mhm.
Right,
space, et cetera, et cetera.
there's all kinds of considerations, however. If it can be done, you know, it might be a benefit. To our community and to our district, so. Anyway, those are the 2 items I wanted to stick on there.
Great, thank you. All right, so now we're down to board superintendent reflections and comments. Tom, can I start with you?
Sure. I'm stunned that we're getting ready to go home at 6:15.
And it's still light out.
And we covered a lot of material today. And the board likes it when there's a lot of information available and we can ask questions and give comments and feedback. And we're gonna go into a quiet time here for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And I missed the fact that there aren't kiddos in here today. And I really like the comments that were made earlier about staff recognition and the importance of that. And I'm delighted that we're locking up Jerry and Andrea.
Mhm.
The golden.
I say that it's not from a legal. And,
I have a policy for you to read.
We have the first read now.
and Deb, it was good to have you on the
Yeah.
microphone. That's all.
Deb, are you still there?
I'm still here. Yep, I am.
Can you give us your reflections, please?
Okay. I loved what I heard tonight. First I want to say that I'm glad Jerry and Andrea are coming back because that makes us all feel safe and makes me think that next year will be just as good or better than this year. That's good. Second thing was the CTE class being certified or really close to it. That's very, very exciting for a
Yes.
school as small as we are. To bring all that in, I love that. I don't know how much work Jason must have had to do that, and everybody. I think that's wonderful. The third thing is scoring in 35 events in a track meet. My dad was a track coach in a very tiny town, so I've been to millions of track meets, and I love them. So 35 scoring in 35 events is a huge thing. And the last thing, I really like the idea of having seniors come back and talk to 8th graders because they need to know that next year may not be as scary as it sounds. People that they know are still okay and they're still fine. Because I can remember looking at high school kids and thinking, how can they joke around when they have homework? I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but I didn't know what high school meant. So when they get to see them and ask questions, that's a big part of education. Other than that, thank you very much for letting me do this. I will not be back for the June meeting either. I'm in Maryland
Oh,
because our son's having treatment for cancer. So we're here
Oh, gosh.
making sure that he's okay, like after the chemo and stuff. So this is going to be till the middle of July anyway. If everything goes great, I'll be home sometime in the late July, I guess. So anyway, I'm in Largo, Maryland. It's 9:18 here.
oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay.
We won't
That's
keep
all
you
right.
long. Thank you so much, and we appreciate you, and we wish the best for your son. Hopefully a
Oh,
fast
thanks.
recovery.
Thank you.
What's his name, Deb?
Stephen,
Stephen. All right,
Mhm.
I'll be praying for Stephen.
thank you.
Thank you, Deb. Wes?
Oh, I've already talked a lot tonight. I agree with everybody. The track meet thing is
That's.
really fantastic, and I remember. Like Claire, my oldest daughter. She was kind of one of those into everything, you know? And she was into track and she did hurdles and things, and then
Wow.
Grace was in volleyball. And God bless. They, but I mean, people come to compete, St. Mike's would come here, they'd be like, let's give a Christian cheer to Grapeview for trying. You'll do better next time, that kind of thing. And it's like, wait a second. And it's like this backhanded, kind of sportsmanship kind of thing. And now I'm just sort of like, yeah, when they see that they're playing Grapeview or they're competing against Grapeview, I bet that smugness kind of goes away a little bit. Yeah, it's at least reduced a bit anyway. So I'm just really proud that I don't know, maybe that's not something I should be proud of, but it is good that we're really, we have a reputation that is a good reputation that's earned. Right? That's it.
Very interesting.
Thank you for stepping up so bravely. You've been the vice chair for 15 minutes. You're leading it, so way to go. I'm proud of you for that. Thank you. And I'm just grateful to have a job. Thank you for listening to me. In a nice place and good people to work with. So that's a true blessing.
To back onto the track, my son played track and I was able to go to every single meet. Their sportsmanship was top notch. I cannot say more about them, even like at Pine, or we went to Hood Canal and for the 800, all the boys had to be 2 deep to the lane all the way through, and some of the Pioneer kids and the Hood Canal kids, they were all shaking hands, and then Grapeview was shaking hands with them. It was just really neat to see. So the track team was really nice to see them step up and great to bring in numbers. I'm proud of my 8th graders, or these 8th graders. I say mine, but the 8th graders here, what a feat, to move on, and I'm really proud of them. And I hope they soar to the stars in the years to come. And I'm looking forward to the field day. I will be there, and graduation. And I'm just all the other stuff, end of year stuff I'm looking forward to. So that's what I have to say.
I have one more comment.
Yeah.
There's a lot of school districts in our state that are in serious trouble financially. Some of them a lot more than others. And there's a lot of uncertainty in those districts, and that makes for very difficult times, as some districts are looking at layoffs, school closures, et cetera, and we're very, very fortunate that we're not in that position.
Yet.
Yeah.
I think we were very lucky that we passed it when we did, without the legislative crap going around to help persuade people to think a different way.
Can I make a comment on that,
Yeah.
Tom? The where we did it right was we didn't think the COVID dollars were permanent.
Yeah, yes.
Such a dumb thing to build that into your budget as a permanent payment. You look at it, school districts that did that, and you're just like, Okay, that was not right. So, anyway, we're, trying to manage the best we can, right?
Mhm.
So, anyway,
So I'm gonna adjourn the meeting here, it's 6:24. It's right here, I'm saying, okay.
Okay, thank you, Deb. We're gonna send that.
See you guys. Thanks.
thanks.
Thank you.
Deb.
Thanks, Brittany, very
That's
much.
for your son.
Thank you.